afternoon, my fellow patriots. I am having to change the title on Twitch because Twitch says my title is invalid. So what I'm going to do is just remove Twitch. If you're watching me on Twitch, come join me on YouTube at either Patriot Black TV or the Melanated Rebel News Network. So let's remove that Twitch real quick. There we go. Hopefully I get some better reception. All right. So good evening, my patriots. Let's see here. Good evening, Melissa Foster. Good evening, Dennis Kahn. Good evening, George Chamberlain. Good evening, Otto von Bismarck. Good evening, Rocket Man, Rocket Matrix. Good evening, Purple Prince. Let's see who else is in the room. Good evening, Barbara Phillips. Good evening, Alina Prim. What's good, everybody? You tuned in to the Melanated Rebel News Network, broadcasting to you live out of the beautiful and historic city of Charleston, South Carolina, where we're going to be keeping it real. What's going on, Troy Bailey? What's up, Brandon Carpenter? We got a lot to discuss tonight and a little time to discuss it in. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I want to thank all of you guys who contribute to the Cash App. I want to thank you guys who donate to me and that became a part of Patreon. I got some podcasts coming up for you this week. So that way you guys can actually get a chance to know me better. Know who your host is here. And I want to thank Melissa Foster of M Foster Creations for creating the website, getting this thing going. We got our merch coming out. There's going to be a selected people, a few of you guys that are fellow patriots in the chat room that's going to be getting some of our merch being sent to you. Yes, the Melanated Rebel News Network is now official. We are the real media. We are not the commercial bought media. We are not the fake news. We are the patriots, and we have our news network right here. So what's good, everybody? I hope everybody had a good day. I know it's Monday, that first day of the week, and I told you this is the first day that we will be going to work. But before I go further, I want to tell you guys about my man, Rod Dawson. If you don't know where to find him, you can find him at vid.anc.ancreport.com, also at social.ancreport.com. He has a free speech platform, as well as we have our website, and this is what I'm not seeing. I want to see more comments in the comment section. I pour my heart and soul into writing these news articles for you. So go to the news stories. Just don't get dazzled on the first page. There are some news stories on there that I keep updated daily. Want to see some more viewers on that news site there. All right. I wrote several articles today that I said things I couldn't say on YouTube, but I put them on the website. Also, I'll be uploading my old school and new school TikTok videos at www.themelanatedrebelnewsnetwork.com. What's up, Sklack? I like that name. What's up, the Copper Show 91? How we doing this evening? Also, if you want to be a part of the Patriot Army, to text 843-732-2892 just in case YouTube decides to pull a fast one on me and we can't broadcast here. We will always find a place that we can meet up in a public forum as well as a private one. We're working on being able to broadcast from the website. Did you post your old channel in the community section? Let the people know the backup channel. Yes, you have Patriot Black TV, or you have the Melanated Rebel or Melanated Rebel. What's up, Brigio? How you doing? Didn't see you sneak in here. This is what we're going to do tonight. You guys caught that Donald Trump rally last night or yesterday. I wish I could have been there. I love hearing that man speak. I miss hearing him speak. The man had said some deep things, and I wish he could have gotten into more detail. Some of these things I actually like to say because I like to piss the wrong people off. But here we go. Because I really miss him being my president. Donald Trump, come on back here, man. You got some work to do. Now, I keep seeing on the Negro Net, a lot of you black Biden supporters are celebrating as if you've gotten tangibles to celebrate other than getting Donald Trump out of the office. Nah, fool. The only people that should be celebrated with tangibles are your white liberal freaks and weirdos. They're celebrated because within their first 2 months of their victory, they're getting sexual access to your children. You're celebrated because your dumbasses were brain dead enough from eating the lead paint chips from the walls in the projects. And you let these dumb white weirdos, these latte-liking, less legal, ball-hiking liberals tell you that the only president who's ever had your back was a racist, and you think that you defeated him with your vote. Now, this new president, this new Joe Biden, is going to do just like every other white liberal do. Every white liberal politician. And they've done this in the past. He's going to tell you to wait. When re-election time comes, he's going to bring the bullshit excuses of why he couldn't do shit for you, and your concerns of police brutality, the wage gap, and systemic racism, all of that shit you thought was going to change, including with your credit score, by having Joe Biden being voted into office. Unfortunately, more of your faces are going to end up on t-shirts. There will be more protests where people say your name, and your death will be to just benefit a hearse-chasing boule bootlick and whatever family member of yours that will step over your dead body, get in front of some news cameras, and have them speaking on your behalf about love and forgiveness while they grab the next money bag. Your white liberal friends will virtue signal online and even show up to throw bricks with the people on your behalf and forget about you when they have their way. If your white liberals that are pumping their fist in the air with you, screaming Black Lives Matter, are sincere and genuine, ask them their thoughts on the illegal immigration policies that Joe Biden is pushing for to make them not so illegal. He's also pushing for doing away with the term illegal alien. According to a post in the, not a post, but a news story in the New York Times, there are certain words that he's trying to do away with to make them more inclusive, to make them more citizen-like. Now, Trump did speak on this yesterday at CPAC, but I wish that he could say what I'm about to say without him being called a racist, because people would see him as a racist if he lays it on the line like I'm about to. So this is where I step in at. And yes, I do have that position, thankfully, of saying the things that a lot of our white counterparts can't say without sounding racist, because I can say it comically and people will laugh at me, but I can say it serious and people will be like, he's a coon. But they will get the message because I'm not being racist here. I'm just being straight real. I'm being straight honest. The reason those demon rats are pushing for the amnesty of illegal aliens, let's call them what they are, illegal aliens, is to oversaturate the black vote, the black voice, and the black way of life. The American Indian is treated way worse than any black man that I've ever met in America, and lives in shittier conditions on those reservations than they could ever think of living in those hoods. And their voices are suppressed because their numbers aren't strong enough to make a good voting bloc. And guess what? If you're celebrating Kamala Harris, come swallow Harris, and Jim Crow Joe, you're on your way to being just where those Native Americans are, on the reservations, to live in shitty conditions. You can bitch, moan, and complain about it, but there's nothing that you can say or do. You won't even get the media attention anymore because your numbers will be suppressed. And if you're not big enough of a voting block to make a difference, you don't matter. Illegal aliens have everything to replace you with, from the criminal entrepreneur, which, we're talking about the street gangs here. They can replace you even in the crime arena. They got gangs like MS-13. The Bloods and Crips can't fuck with them. There's no black gang out there yet that can fuck with MS-13. Sorry. They could do a takeover of your block for all of you people that think you're about that thug life. You ain't about that life. Not when it comes to them. They could take your block over, dude. So they have everything to replace you with. They can replace you in the criminal element. They can replace the entrepreneur in the neighborhoods. They also can replace the workforce, the military sign-ups. Also, they have this to bring to the table, and they're organized. Now, a lot of illegal aliens are entrepreneurs in their own countries, and they come to the United States and prosper from their skilled trades. You could go to their communities and see movie theaters, bowling alleys, restaurants, discotheques, and all that shit is staffed by their own people. And you know what? To be honest with you, I actually get my vehicles customized. My stereo systems, my wheels, I get all of that in the Hispanic community. And the reason why is because when I go to like, quote unquote, franchise places to try to book an appointment, when I get extra money, I get paid on commission. So I'm the type of person that if I got a pocket full of money, I want what I want when I want, and I want it when I want it. I don't want to wait 3 weeks out to where places like Roger Stereo and, these Kenwood Audios and all that other shit, they're booked out for 4 weeks. If I want some neon lights on the bottom of my car, I want those neon lights today. And guess what? In those Hispanic communities, I could get it today. The man may say he closed the doors at 5, and I'm like, damn, man, I won't be, can you work me into your schedule? Guess what he does? He says, okay, I close at 5. It won't take me long to put them on. Just bring the car over. I also do my shopping in the Hispanic community. Why? Because they have grocery stores and the customer service is a lot friendlier there. And the food is actually pretty cheap. So, with that being said, these people are already organized. They can replace you. This is what Joe Biden's pushing for. When he pushes for amnesty, that means they're bringing their mamas, their daddies, their sisters, their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, their nieces, their nephews, and their kids. And who do you think they're going to vote for? Well, that's who the Democratic Party will pander to, just like they did in this past election. Now, their population, where do those populations grow at? If we're talking about illegal immigration and illegal aliens, let's talk about what side of town they go to. Those are old black parts of town that they migrate to. Those are old poor white towns that they migrate to. And they turn those little parts of towns that was once shitty with their carpentry work into places that look, you wouldn't even recognize those places anymore. They are a community of people that pools their monies together and don't suffer from the jealousy of being the next member of their race for being too close to the white man. They value their family. They value their customs. Their moral compasses are awesome. And that won't allow them to shoot their kids up with puberty blockers or anything of the liking. They don't easily fall victim to that family court system, being that their women haven't been indoctrinated with that white liberal woman man-hating bullshit. By no means am I putting my black people down. I'm not. I'm not putting my fellow melanated people down. But I'm telling you, when they open those borders, I'm just letting you know what you're up against. So while you're celebrating your own demise. Your white liberal communists will have you upset about the kids that are in cages at the borders, but have you totally ignoring the fact about the kids that are in cages in America that are melanated. Yes, there are a lot of kids sitting in juvie hall right now working in these for-hire private prisons, but they're not telling you to be upset about that. It seems like you got your selective subjects that you want to be pissed off about. So they can have you pissed off about kids in cages, but they can't have you not upset about the kids that are in cages here. But they tell you Black Lives Matter. White liberals won't bring up the fact that if you were to stand at a Home Depot, not buying anything, just looking for some work, They'll lock your black ass up, yet we have thousands of illegal immigrants across the country that can do the same and no police are called. They'll just show up, somebody show up with a work truck and they'll jump in the back and they'll go to the job. But they tell you Black Lives Matter, right? White liberals have you pissed off about the way innocent kids are being separated from their families at the border, but will be the first to either encourage you to abort your kid, encourage your kids to change their gender for their freak show, or try to use the same state tactics that they use to take your kids from you to put them on the auction, the adoption auction block. All of which keeps your numbers as a population diminishing, if not stagnant. But they scream Black Lives Matter, right? Basically, this is not only this whole thing that's going on is not only an attack on your community, but also on your country. If your country falls, this means you fall with it. That means your resources are gone. Your country, that if it falls to communism, you fall first. The LGBTQE, E for etc., only makes up 2% of the population, and already the Biden administration are putting motions together to give them their tangibles. Their tangibles to let the perverts of that community have sexual access to your children. And I'm not saying that people in the LGBTQ community are all a bunch of perverts. I'm not a homophobe by any means, so don't get that message from me. But I'm saying that those perverts in that community, they know what the fuck they're doing. And even the community itself are ashamed of the perverts that are in that community. They don't agree with all of this shit either. Now, the illegal aliens aren't even citizens, and they're already in motion to bring them in by the droves and set them up in your communities. And Jim Crow Joe is telling you that Black Lives Matter, and he's not even giving you his ass to kiss. That Kamala Harris that you champion as the black VP is going against you as well. She's undermining a lot of you. She's not even giving you her ass to kiss. If you weren't paying attention during her campaign, she had no black agenda, and her action speaks louder than her words. She doesn't see herself as one of you. You see yourself as her, but she doesn't see herself as you. She too sees herself as an immigrant. That's why she's always talking about her family from India. She identifies herself as an immigrant, which is why she has no black agenda, but she has an open border for illegal aliens. Now, on the day that the media proclaimed victory, all I could remember seeing on the Negro Net were a bunch of duppies celebrating for Kamala and dumb weed-wearing wicked witches screaming black girl magic. Some of these whores went on to say, this gives hope to the young black girls out there. Hope? Yeah, they're going to need all the motherfucking hope that you can imagine, that you can muster, that you can dream of. They're going to need hope. They're going to need prayers, and they're going to need a whole lot of genies so they can make wishes, because this is what they're going to need. Why? Because they are now undermined citizens, having to play second fiddle to illegal aliens that will be prioritized than these young black girls you say this gives hope to. If they had a problem with hope before, you really sold them out with your support for an administration that will deny them the better future that could have made their lives a lot better as Americans. Look at all of these businesses right now, and it's funny that we bring this up right now. This time last year, the streets were locked down. You couldn't go to a bar. You couldn't go dance, and people were scared to go fucking because of this virus, right? And the virus is still deadly then as it is now. There's not been any scientific improvements yet. Not reported in the news. This is not fake news. This is real shit. You couldn't go shopping. You couldn't watch sports. You couldn't do a damn thing. They could crucify Donald Trump for the way he handled this thing. Now, this was the time last year that the impeachment trials were over. This was the time that they said the virus was moving in January. So basically, they crucified Trump because he didn't move fast enough. Well, he was making the same moves then as Biden is making now. Don't want to lock down the economy. Wear a mask. Well, back then we didn't have the vaccines, but even the vaccine says after you take them that you have to still socially distance. So with that being said, look at the way this administration is handling the dangerous COVID-19. And I'm assuming that this virus is still deadly. I'm assuming that this virus is still dangerous then as it was then as it is now. But look at the way that we can magically open up our southern border, but can't open up our northern border. Can someone tell me what magically happened this time last year that we were all stressed out, but now we could go to restaurants and bars? And what the fuck was up with these old bullshit ordinances anyhow? When you go into a restaurant, you have to wear a mask, but when you sit down to eat, you can take the mask off. When you fly, you have to socially distance in the airport, but you could jump on the plane and fly to your next destination, packed in there like sardines. It's funny how they have selective preventative measures. And what is the news talking about now with everything that's going on? What is it that the news is talking about? Because last summer, everybody was screaming Black Lives Matter with their fist in the air. But what are they talking about now? We're talking about transgenderism. We're talking about every fucking thing in the world. Everybody's getting their tangibles. But the same people that are celebrating and still shit talking Trump on the Negro net are like, you just hate Trump. Well, what promises is Joe Biden keeping to you? What promises? There's no qualified immunity being removed, which should have been removed by executive order. This man is not even giving you Juneteenth as a holiday. He could do that with the stroke of a pen. It's not even doing that. So you tell me, what is Jim Crow Joe doing for you? He's setting you up for failure. He's setting you up for failure, and you're celebrating him. He's setting you up for failure. He's setting your kids up for failure. You did all that work for Jim Crow Joe last summer. He's not even giving you his ass to kiss. But you're just happy that the orange man is gone. I don't get you people. You need to evaluate your friends. You need to evaluate the people who you say are your alliances in this bullshit. So let's talk about what this means for America right now. I would love to see Trump run for president in 2024, but look at how quick it will take Biden to run the country to the ground. Trump would have to start from where he stopped. He would get the same bullshit in his hands by the time he runs again. Because that's how far Jim Crow Joe would have ran the country into the ground. Then the race relations. These young boys talking about racism. You got to walk on eggshells because you don't want to offend someone. Then we're talking about cancel culture. We can't even get authentic news because we're afraid that once we get authentic news, that they're going to cancel it. You're afraid to say what you want to say online. because you're afraid that they will silence your voice. The way I look at it, Mark Zuckerberg, if you operate in the United States, Mr. Zuckerberg, then you ought to use your platform should be centered around First Amendment rights, Mr. Zuckerberg. First Amendment rights, I meant. You ought to be able to have freedom of speech online. You ought to be able to say as a conservative the shit with as much hatred as you want to say it in as those goddamn libtards. You ought to be able to say what you want to say. Now, here's my question. As Americans, we need to be, not with the internet, we need to actually journalize this. We need to write this down in a book, a tablet of some sort, to let our kids know what's really happening here, because 20 years down the road, they're going to paint the Patriots as terrorists. They're going to paint the Patriots as cult members. They're going to paint the Patriots as delusional. Delusional is the word they will call us, from the same fucking party that thinks that if you were born a man, that you could turn yourself magically into a woman. But they call us delusional. That same party that can open up the border, our southern border, during a fucking pandemic and say, come on in. Open the floodgates. Because they say we got plenty of help to give. Now, on the subject of reparations, let's bring this up. Now, a lot of my white counterparts don't get pissed off when I say what I'm about to say. But you will agree with me when I say this. A lot of ADOS, which is American Descendants of Slavery, ask for reparations. Would you rather, I don't know, cut a check to the African American or ADOS or American Descendants of Slavery? Or would you rather them give that money to people that are south of the border to move here? Which one would you think is right? If you had to choose one. If you had to choose one. So Jim Crow Joe can't tell these black people that are still asking for reparations for slavery that he doesn't have the money to give them. But you can open the border. You can open the border and give the money to the illegal aliens. Jim Crow Joe, I'm going to keep talking about that point right there. You can't cut a check to the ADOS, and I'm not even talking about for slavery. I'm talking about the people who had to live through the Jim Crow era. I'm talking about the people who were misplaced during the Jim Crow era. I'm talking about for mental anguish that most melanated people had to go through. You can put money for gender studies, but you can't put money for reparations. You can send millions upon billions of dollars overseas, but you can't pay these people for reparations. Yes, slavery has left some very detrimental scars on people. But I'd rather see them get it because they're Americans. Give them something to either educate them, let them be independent, something. Instead of just trying to replace the population that you shit on. And I'm sure Rocket Man, Rocket Matrix would agree with me on this. You can't give reparations, but you can give you can open the borders because the kids are in cages. What part of having a border don't you understand? You got some old jerk offs up there, and even the boule bootlicks, these boule bootlick people that are in Congress, these Negroes in Congress that you think have your back, they don't. These race soldiers been killing your people on the damn streets. And the only thing you can get up there and do is preach for the illegal immigrants. You don't have that much fire when it comes down to people such as Ahmaud Arbery. You don't have that much fire when it came down to Botham Jean. No. But you want to scream at Border Patrol. You put some dumb Negro boule bootlick in Congress. He does nothing for your people, but you vote for him because he shows up at your church. The man can't even complete a sentence. There's a reason why they are still alive, and the articulate revolutionaries are dead. The revolutionaries were a threat to the democratic power structure that they have over the black community today. Where these old boule bootlicks, they'll sell these people out and just chase a hearse to be the next person in front of the webcam or the TV cam. This is what happens when you start playing with race relations. They start playing them against you, and you champion it just because you're getting attention. You don't even know what kind of attention they're paying you or how they're seeing you under this magnifying glass they're putting you under as it sits over the sun and you're standing under it in this certain light as you burn, as you cook. And this is what we need to be addressing right now. You're not making enough noise. You're not asking the right questions. You're doing too much celebrating. You need to be uniting with your fellow white patriots as well, because they've seen the injustice in the system. And if they're talking about it, you need to say, listen, this is what we were talking about. What can we do together? Fuck Uber Eats and Grubhub having a black section on it and all this other uplift black voice bullshit that they're talking about. Fuck all that. That's their ploy to keep you separated. That's their ploy to keep you bickering with each other as they plan to have you as a melanated person play second fiddle to somebody that doesn't even speak your language. This is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be talking about. This is what you need to be vocalizing. Stop letting the wrong people speak for your community. Stop letting the wrong people speak for your community or represent your community. Shit on your community. Excuse me. I think I'm getting allergic to these cats in this house. So, yes, we got our work cut out for us. I wanted to cover that subject tonight. But until then, I got to get myself to bed. I got an early morning on the weight bench tomorrow. I'm trying to get myself looking right. I ordered some shirts from Amazon, and they're kind of tight, so I want them to be tight so I can like have my muscles looking right under under the shirt. You know what I'm saying? So yes, cancel Al Sharpton. Cancel all of those boule bootlicks. Let's cancel the Congressional Black Caucus. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Yep. We're going to be having some merch come out this week. We're also going to start talking about Operation Love. And I'm thinking about actually having set up some places where we can actually do a rally and ask these difficult questions that nobody wants to ask. Yes, I want to do that. I want to bring people in that are that believe in the phrase Black Lives Matter, but not a part of the fucking organization. And I want them to be on the stage with me as well. I want to start doing speaking events because we need to start asking these questions. We don't need Candace Owens. Nope. We don't need Candace Owens, and I'm going to tell you why. Candace Owens had did a lot of damage to her name when she spoke on Ahmaud Arbery prematurely. So even when Candace Owens tries to bring the truth, which she's bringing a lot of truth now, people don't want to listen to her. She's already got the black community turned off. When she tried to talk about Cardi B and I was listening to that conversation, I'm like, well, darn, both of these ladies need to sit down and be ladies. Both of these ladies need to sit down and be ladies. You know, Cardi B admitted that she didn't know much about politics. That's where Candace Owens could have took the high road and says, well, let me talk to you. You know, so we need to distance ourselves from these race grifters out here as well. Such as the Brandon Tatums. I don't want to be in 20 miles of Brandon Tatum because he's pissed off a lot of black people. Because the popular black conservatives I wouldn't mind hanging out with. Well, we know who they are. We need to have a patriot party put together where we're not we're not a freaking political party, but we need to have something where we all can sit down and have an open dialogue with each other. Because the way things are going right now, it's not working. Life is too short. 4 years is a long time. So what we need to do now is work together as citizens. Now, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out tonight. Let's see. Don't forget to mention Cyber Demon. What? I didn't attack her too. I didn't get to attack her much, right? Cyber Demon. Yes, Cyber Demon was that communist chick that I had put up last night on my show. Yeah, that's what your enemies look like. So basically, us patriots need to get together. We need to have each other's back. We need to have each other's back, and this is the very important part here. We need to be a community more than we need to be a political party. We need to be a community more than we need to be a political party. Where we go one, we go all. That's the way we need to be. If we're a community and we're functioning as a community, then there's nothing that can stop us. We need to have that same sense of unity that we had when we were at the Trump rallies, because it wasn't about Trump, it was about patriots having a good time. They would play the songs before Trump would get out on stage, and you had different patriots dancing and people conversing with each other, and it was just awesome. It was an awesome, awesome setting. And this was before Trump ever took the stage. Trump was like, I don't know, the guest speaker at these places. And when Trump got on stage, it was more along the lines of, hey, we're all here to, this is the man we support. But it wasn't like Trump was on the stage and he was the center of attention. It was like he was one of us. The only thing was he got to be on the stage. With that being said, I got to get to rolling tonight. I got an early morning. I got some things I got to handle. Got to get my body right. I got a convertible, so I got to be able to look right in that convertible. Let's see. I used to watch Tatum a lot, but seen a video of him and was like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. And another guy that I want to debate is that, what's that guy, Anomaly? You know, he was like, yeah, I want a Trump supporter to debate me. Anomaly is, well, I don't want to talk about the man because he's not here to defend himself, but from what I'm getting of him, he's a bandwagon Trump supporter. He was a bandwagon patriot. And I'm not talking about the bandwagon patriot. He was a bandwagon patriot. Because now, since Trump's not in the office, he's wanting to talk about the things that Trump didn't do right. He's wanting to separate and distance himself from Trump now. No, dude, no. No. I'm a ride or die. That's where open dialogue is needed, George. That's where open dialogue is needed. So I got to get to bed now. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out tonight. Remember, where we go one, we go all. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless America. God bless you all for coming out. Thank you guys for the donations. Thank you for everything you do for me. I got my TikTok account back going. I'm going to put that in the email. So I'm going to do some lives on there probably tomorrow night for a little bit. And then after that, you guys can come to the website, check out my news articles. I got a bunch of new news articles up there today. And just leave your thoughts and your opinions. Where we go one, we go all. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless America. God bless you all. Patriots for life. God bless Donald Trump. I'm Ricky Mann of the Melanated Rebel News Network, signing off.